Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, a judge rules that tax money to help fund the Cardinals Stadium and other sports venues will have to be refunded. We'll update the controversy over wild horses near the Salt River, and we'll see how police are cleaning up a crime-ridden area in Phoenix. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Money collected from a rental car tax that helps fund the Arizona Sports and Tourism Authority will have to be refunded. That's according to a Maricopa County Superior Court judge. The ruling could cost the state over $160 million. Peter Corbett of the Arizona Republic is covering the story. He joins us now. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Good to see you, Ted.
Give us an overview now of this particular case. This has been going on for a while, hasn't it?
Yes, pretty much a decade, and we go back to a year ago when a Superior Court judge ruled that the rental car tax is unconstitutional because it's a tax that should be used for roads and highways, and so they said you cannot use it for funding the stadium.
And TSA, the Tourism and Sports Authority, or the Sports and it's the STA these days, they've changed it around a little bit. This is an authority, they're paying down the debt of that football stadium out there, aren't they? Right,
they've got a $260 million in debt to pay, and that's a significant part of their revenue is from the rental car tax, a 3.5% tax, raises around $12 million a year, so that's a serious cut in their revenue.
And so, and again, spring training stadiums and tourism and youth, that was part of the deal that they get voters to approve it back whenever. But the suit was filed by rental car firms?
Yes, well, it originally was filed on behalf of the customers, but when it went to the Superior Court, the court said it had to be the rental car companies had the only standing in the case because they pay the tax to the Arizona Department of Revenue, and an appeals court upheld that. So if they have to refund the money to the rental car companies, the people who actually paid the tax will not see any of that money.
That seems unusual. Is that unusual?
I think it is. I've not heard of any case like that before. And then you've got all the customers are people who are tourists generally, and they're spread all over the country, and so they'll never see the money.
Well, not only is it unusual to say that the people who pay the tax aren't going to be the ones who get the tax, it seems odd to say that a tax that's been going on for years, you have to refund the money. Isn't it more common you just say, okay, that tax is unconstitutional, knock it off?
All right, and strange, or even stranger, is that it's going to continue for until this case is resolved. They continue to collect the tax and pay it to the Arizona Sports and Tourism Authority.
So even though, I mean, literally, they could be collecting money that they're going to have to turn around and give back.
Right. And there's some, some thought on whether they put this money in an escrow account or just what they do with it in the meantime, but that hasn't been decided. There's been a lot of things that haven't been decided in these cases, and there's certainly going to be appeals from.
Yeah, and with that in mind, what are you looking at as far as appeals, and how long could the process go?
The plaintiff's attorney, Sean Aiken, says he expects the case could wrap up by 2016, and it could see a ruling from the appeals court in 16 or 17, and then you have to just find out if the Arizona Supreme Court takes the case. So that could push it into 2018.
Which, and again, if it pushes it into that far ahead, all that time they're going to continue collecting money.
That's right.
Is there a plan for them to stop this?
We'll see if there's any rulings in that regard, or if they'd want to put the money in escrow, or what they want to do with it. So.
Now, how much money are we talking about here to date?
There's as much as $160 million from all the cases. This initial case that was ruled on yesterday involved about $22 million, according to the plaintiff's attorney. But he says all the other time frames of this case would add up to as much as $150 to $160 million.
And the response from Sports and Tourism Authority is?
They had no response, except for their attorney is saying that they don't believe the ruling will be upheld. They think the judges have gotten it wrong, and they expect to prevail.
As far as the state of Arizona, we hear any response from them?
Nothing yesterday. We tried to reach out to them and did not get a response.
Well, this whole thing, and again, the reason for the ruling that they're saying it's unconstitutional is because this is, the rental car firms are being taxed, but the money is not being used that would impact
for roads and highways. It goes back to early in the dawn of the automobile age. They were with gas taxes. They said if we're going to tax people for automobiles and their gasoline, the money should be used for roads and highways. And so that's why this is carried forward. This is an excise tax on an automobile use. Has to be used for highways.
Well, if it should be used or must be used?
Must be. It was the way the judge ruled.
Well, if it must be used, who in the world came up with this idea to put this in front of the voters in the first place?
Well, if you remember in 1999, they went to Mesa and said, do you want to tax yourselves to build a stadium in Mesa? And the taxpayer said no. So they said, well, let's find a way and we'll shift the tax to tourists. We got the bed tax, a 1% bed tax, and we have the car tax, or the rental car tax. Voters said, sure. We'll do that. We're not going to be paying the bulk of that, so sure, let's go ahead.
And so no one thought to look back on this and see?
That was what one of the attorneys I talked to today said. Did anybody really research this to see if this was legal, or did they figure, well, maybe if we get further enough down the road, we won't be stopped because it'll be a little bit too late. The horse is already out of the barn.
Well, and this is a big horse. It's a big barn. Is there any? It doesn't strike me as settlement possibilities here. I mean, is that even? I mean, it doesn't seem like this is the kind of thing that can be settled.
Right. It seems to me that you probably have to consider whether you're going to raise another tax to replace the rental car tax.
And anyone talking about that yet, or is that still?
I haven't heard anybody talking about that yet, but it seems to me that that's what they're going to have to talk about. But they have some time to do that.
Okay, so what's next here? The appeals process, what's next in that whole thing?
First of all, they have to wrap up this case, decide on attorney's fees and that kind of thing. That could take some months. And then they can file their appeals, and then it winds its way slowly through the process.
Okay, so we won't see anything more about this for the next few months, you think?
I don't think so.
Okay. Peter, great job covering this. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Ted. Enjoyed it.
The U.S. Forest Service is meeting with groups that want the agency to reverse its plans to remove horses from along the Salt River northeast of Phoenix. Here with the latest is Amy Doan of the Salt River Wild Horses Management Group. Welcome to Arizona Horizon.
Well, thank you.
What is the latest now in terms of any negotiations or any talks?
Well, we have begun a dialogue with the Forest Service, and we're very hopeful of a resolution that will keep the horses in the Tonto National Forest where they belong.
Why, and as far as the federal lawsuit now, that's been put on hold, correct?
Correct.
Now, why did that happen?
Well, we're in negotiations with the Forest Service, so I'm going to defer back to that.
Okay, so basically the idea is you're talking, so let's hold up until the talking ends. Right. What position are you? I mean, it's either the horses stay or the horses go, isn't it?
Well, it is, and let me tell you, we're offering the Forest Service a win-win public-private partnership, and it's to humanely manage the horses, to improve public safety, and also to improve the habitat in the Tonto National Forest, and that's for the horses and for the public.
So what would this entail? What are the idea? What's the idea here?
Well, what we have is we have a phenomenal idea that we're presenting and that we're in negotiations with the Forest Service. And we're really proposing a very humane way to manage the horses, keeping them in the Tonto National Forest where they belong.
And now I know that as far as the suit being on hold, Judge kind of thinks it could be settled within 60 days or so. You optimistic for that?
We're cautiously optimistic,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. What did the Forest Service plan to do with these horses?
Honestly, to dispose of them. The Forest Service announced in Arizona Capital Times less than 2 weeks ago that they were going to round up and remove all of the free roaming horses, free roaming and untamed horses in the lower Salt River. And what they were going to do was they were going to collect them all, and they have to turn them over to the state of agriculture, and they go to auction, or if they're not, sold at auction, then they dispose of them.
And I know that the feds said that they were doing this because they found that, first of all, they call them stray horses. They don't call them wild. They call them feral and stray horses. Do they have a point there?
No, absolutely not. We can document that those horses have been there for centuries. The Forest Service even knows that they have even stated that they've been there for more than 80 years. Those horses are wild and they deserve to remain there.
Yet the agency says that they are a safety hazard. Is that a valid point?
There has been no documented cases of humans being injured by horses.
What about people running into them with their vehicles?
Well, they also run into deers, and they run into squirrels, and they do run into animals.
And yet the feds say that they do have authority over what they call stray and feral animals, and it's their responsibility that if cars are hitting these things and if other concerns are out there, they have to do something with them. Again, do they have a valid point there?
Well, that's why we want to address. That's why we're working with them to. We have a humane management program that we're working with them on. That's what we want to emphasize, is that these horses can remain in the Tonto National Forest safely, and we can do that.
So can you give us any particulars of your plan?
I cannot.
You cannot, because you guys are still talking.
Right.
Would fencing be an idea that you would think would be humane?
Fencing is a fabulous idea, and we have worked, the Salt River Wild Horse Management Group has worked with the Tonto National Forest on fencing issues already.
So that could be an option of the negotiations.
Correct, and we've also worked with Maricopa County Department of Transportation. We had, Salt River Wild Horse Management Group had the wild horse signs put up along the Bush Highway.
Yeah, and the Bush Highway is a major concern, I think, for the agency. I've heard that the water has been shut off to certain areas. There were people talking about water shut off because the feds were trying to get the horses to move. Is that true, or are those just rumors?
Well, we can't validate that is. But there are parts of the Tonto National Forest that used to have plentiful water, and those areas do not anymore.
And those are areas where the horses used to congregate?
Yes.
For those who say these horses are livestock, they're defended from livestock, they should be treated as livestock as opposed to wild, free-roaming animals, you say?
We say they are not. We say that those horses have been there for centuries. We at the Salt River Wild Horse Management Group have been documenting them for decades. And we have a very scientific study of these horses and their migratory patterns, their birth rates, death rates, you name it, we have it.
And you have an equitable solution, you think?
I know.
You know. Does the Forest Service consider, I mean, how far along are talks? Are they listening to what you're saying? Are you optimistic that they may put into practice what you're proposing?
Well, we are hopeful. And this is the beginning. We have just begun dialogue with them. So this is just the beginning.
And is the dialogue going every day? Once a week?
The dialogue is going consistently.
Couple times a week?
Yeah,
something along those.
Well, yes. We are in very close conversations and very close committees with the Forest Service.
And until those talks are done, nothing is going to happen to these horses.
Correct.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
The Phoenix Police Department is taking a different approach to fighting crime in one part of the city. It's called the Violence Impact Project, and it's focused on the area just west of Interstate 17 from Indian School Road to Dunlap Avenue. That's where producer Christina Estes and photographer Langston Fields talk with police and residents.
Just off 27th Avenue, you'll find neighborhoods with a mix of people. Some who've never left, some like Sam Macias who've returned,
Moved back into the area about 2.5 years ago.
and some who are being kicked out.
I knew that it was a hot spot for crime, you know.
Sam's neighborhood wasn't just a hot spot, but the hot spot, according to the man in charge of the Cactus Park Police Precinct.
We would have department-wide meetings and talk about crime. It was always referred to as the red spot, the red spot on the map of where most of the crime was occurring. And what we found was everybody was pointing to pretty much the same things. Certain problem locations and certain things were going on.
So along 27th Avenue, you'll see prostitution. You'll see them walking the streets back and forth. You see people pull over and do quick deals. You know, at night you can sit on a corner and watch that. A lot of times people will kind of offshoot to a small street or find a poorly lit building and do whatever they've come into the neighborhood to do.
It's a familiar story to Commander Robinson.
Anybody who has been around the valley long enough remembers when East Van Buren was the place to go for, unfortunately, for any type of sex-related business. There was prostitution, there was a host of things up and down Van Buren. As a matter of fact, when I was a fairly new lieutenant working out of our Central City precinct, one of my responsibilities when I started the midnight shift every night was to get a rough count on how many prostitutes were out on the street, because that kind of gave us a gauge on how busy we would be.
While the images aren't new to police, their reactions are. More than a decade ago, when it came to prostitution along Van Buren Street, Robinson says the mentality was throw them in jail and the problem will disappear.
The reality of it all is the problem doesn't go away. You'd go in and arrest everybody, but eventually they come out and they have to go somewhere. The unfortunate thing is that somewhere was here on 27th Avenue in that area from Indian School up to Dunlap.
Other crimes followed, including drug deals, shoplifting, and trespassing. Lots began to fill with trash or become makeshift homes for those without.
Buildings aren't being kept up, bad land ownership, building owners, and so when you have a community that looks crime-ridden or looks bad, it invites those actions into the community.
Rather than rush in and make arrests, cops focused on building relationships, getting input from people who live and work here, and getting other city departments to help track down landlords renting to bad tenants. This house was once considered a nightmare for neighbors and a haven for drug users. The city evicted them and the house is now for sale.
We worked with an art group called Rag Collection.
As they eliminate ugliness, residents also want to add beauty.
The vision of that wall came from a community conversation. We had some ASU professors facilitate a conversation with residents, envisioning what a healthy or a safe community looks like for them. And with that input, the artist came up with the design of this mural and then the smaller mural just on the other side of the lot.
Crime had been way up here for the last several years. And since the inception of this program and our efforts and the partnerships that are in place, we have seen nothing but a decline in calls for service as well as the level of violence and all crime occurring in that area. We're in some cases down double digits.
In the last few months, city staff says they've resolved more than 800 graffiti issues, investigated nearly 300 blight cases, and responded to 6 complaints about homelessness. Robinson says arrests are leading to convictions for high-risk offenders and second chances for others.
You know, people didn't grow up wanting to be homeless. People didn't grow up wanting to be a prostitute. Out of happenstance, that is the life they've fallen into. If you can give them a way out, if you can give them an opportunity to fix their lot in life and to give them a little bit better, you find that people are willing to do that. And that's what we were about. We were about working with the different groups and getting those types of things, those types of opportunities to folks who are living in those situations.
While Robinson considers the Violence Impact Project a success, he says there will be no official end date.
Because that signals, quite honestly, that you're kind of giving up on that area in my mind. we're not going to do that.
Instead, he says police will stay involved with people like Sam and the Canyon Corridor Neighborhood Alliance.
And that group is really just a body of people, residents, organizations that come together to discuss these issues, but then also come up with plans or strategies on how do we go after them. How do we have a conversation with PD or with the building owner or with a mom and dad who walk their kids to school and teach them? So we partner them, a mom and dad, with PD, and we have PD have that conversation and say, this is what we look for in crime, this is how you can report it, you don't have to be afraid of reporting. I think there's going to be a huge success with just reducing crime and also beautifying the neighborhood, making it safer to walk around, making it more vibrant to walk around. And I think we're looking forward to a great future.
When Phoenix police arrest prostitutes, they're often given the chance to participate in a diversion program rather than go to jail. When it comes to solicitation, men are offered a one-time option to complete what's been dubbed John's School in exchange for the case being dismissed.
We want to hear from you. Submit your questions, comments, and concerns via email at arizonahorizon@asu.edu.
On Arizona Horizon, it's the Journalists Roundtable. State revenues exceed forecasts, but is the money just filling holes from recent slowdowns? And you-know-who is still the favorite presidential candidate among GOP voters in Arizona? Those stories and more on the Journalists Roundtable. That's it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.